What's up, Dragon Brood? So I wasn't sure what I wanted to cover on today's video, but I figured I'd be completely remiss if I didn't give everybody an update on Lenore's situation. So she kind of gets to be the star of the videos for 2 weeks in a row. I will say this, we were really concerned. Y'all saw how much fluid we drained from her in the previous video. I'll see if I remember to link it up here. But she really is recovering okay. I won't say it's been a fast recovery. We've had her inside in a large cat carrier, kind of just sitting in our bathroom in the bathtub, just to keep her warm, keep the heater on, make sure everything's good for her, making sure she's keeping normal light cycles. So we're trying to monitor, the light being on, light being off, like it would be outside, just to make it as comfortable and reasonable for her as possible. Now, the good news is, after a couple of days, she started eating regularly. We put some pieces of fruit in there that she ate. We put different types of food in general, and she consumed it, so that was good. She was drinking regularly. We tried to drain her a second time, but only got a little bit of fluid out, though she still feels like there's a little bit of something in there, but it's not hindering her as much. Our biggest concerns are when she's still seated. You can see that she's got some labored breathing still at times, so maybe something's still pressing up against something. There's the other reality that sadly she may just have something else, that maybe it's some cancerous thing or whatever that's just slowly deteriorating and there's nothing we can do about it. But we're still trying to get her back to a recovery state. With that being said, I figured we would show some footage of, her just getting reacclimated to being outside. This is after day, 5 of her being inside, and us trying to get her back to just being with the rest of the brood and really just getting back to living normally instead of having to live inside this box while she's recovering.
So here's our lady. She's doing a bit better now. She at least can get up, get around. Not great, mind you, but she's doing better. We're still working on that. Don't know how she's going to finish. If you see now, though, she was breathing a little harder than normal. Some of that's just labored breathing. Some of that's also her being nervous because we're moving her around. So we're having kind of a hard time figuring out where her level truly is at this stage. So we're going to put her outside for a bit today and let her kind of get reacclimated to everything, and she can mess around, eat the greenery, whatever. Give herself something to do other than just being in this oversized cat carrier that we have for her, and hopefully this will help her get back to some level of normalcy. But as you can see, she's at least walking around and definitely looks significantly better than she did a few days ago. So that's a start. She's at least making a little noise. So that's telling us she has some energy now. And we're at least going to see how it goes for a few days. We thought she might have been on the brink. I think even with this, we're probably only buying a couple of months. But, giving her a shot. Now, some of you may be wondering, where are we putting her? Well, we have what I guess technically is a backup pen or coop. It's not something we use regularly. This was actually like our original chicken coop when we only had, I think it was 3 or 4 chickens at the time. And the other one they're in now is what we used to keep one of our raptors in. And since we no longer have the raptor, we just moved the chickens over there. But coincidentally, we left this one up, though we had planned to take it down as we put it in a garden. But it seems to work for now as a backup chicken coop. And this is important because the other chickens were kind of giving her a hard time, taking shots at her, and she wasn't there's kind of a thing where they need to be in position to defend themselves, and she wasn't in that type of shape. So we're making sure she can get reacclimated to everything, just kind of at her own pace. Also, one of the issues she has right now is her timing was kind of bad on when to come down ill. We do have issues with the weather's starting to get cooler and whatnot, and that's kind of another thing we're trying to do. because we're keeping it warmer inside for recovery. When she's inside in the cat carrier, we keep her in one of the bathrooms with like the temperature up and everything. But now we need to get her outside so she gets used to being cool, let her body warm up. And we're doing this kind of daily. Bring her out in the morning, take her back inside in the evenings, and hopefully over the next couple of days she'll be in good enough shape. But there are like behaviors we're looking for. You know, there's like a wing flap thing that's kind of like, I don't know, display of dominance, kind of defense mechanism sort of thing. So when she's doing that comfortably, we think she can be out with the other chickens regularly. But until then, we're just gonna keep her separated and let her get acclimated and slowly kind of get back to some level of normalcy.
And here she is the next day after we let her out into the yard to kind of just get used to being back in the field, being around the other chickens, you know, so she can defend herself or whatever. But just letting her get comfortable with everything that's going on. Now, for those of you that are wondering, the rest of the chickens are doing fine. The good news is there was nothing that was any level of infection or looks like it spread to the rest of them. As a matter of fact, here they are eating as normal and completely ignoring the fact that I'm standing there, because that's what they do. So they are all happy and healthy and everything's going well as far as that's concerned. The only thing we did is we took some 7 dust and cleaned up some different mites or whatever they might have. But generally, no major issues. That's the good news. Now, the bad news, we were coming up on a time that we may have to cull the brood at some point anyway. And it's not something people like to think about, but like I mentioned before, our chickens are still livestock at the end of the day for us. So we do try to make their lives as comfortable as possible, at least to the point that they either start getting older, start having issues, or start slowing down significantly in some way. So Lenore is kind of on the chopping block. You know, our concern is that though she is getting better and she now is able to get out, you know, she was in the chicken coop with everybody else, she's out in the yard, kind of back to normal behavior for the most part. We know that she's still living on borrowed time. So is she gonna suffer more if we keep trying to like bring her back versus just finally, you know, putting her out of her misery? That's always a tough decision to make. Same thing with Katsu, to a point where Katsu already has a bunch of different issues, poor girl, but she also, you know, has been in a state where she hasn't been able to lay very many eggs. She's been laying maybe an average of like 1 every 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks during lay season. So we're getting maybe 8 to 12 eggs out of her the entire season. So there's a lot of that type of stuff that we're having to look at. So part of our videos, I guess, after the winter will be when we're bringing in new chickens, and we'll talk about that. But for now, you know, we're gonna let Lenore just kind of function. We'll see how she does. If you haven't, please remember to like this video to help us get in front of more people. Hit the subscribe button so I know you appreciate the content I'm doing, and then hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time I have a video up. Also remember that we have merchandise and stuff that you can find in the links down below if you want to support the channel and get a little something for yourself. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.